All right, I'm here with Will Cavallo. Am I saying that correctly?
There you are.
All right, why don't you introduce yourself for everyone and tell us where you train at and give us your record, and we'll start from there.
All right. I'm Will Cavallo. I'm 21 years young. I train here in Beltrante Fighting Studios near my home in Eagleville, PA. Been training for about a year and a half, a little bit over. I'm excited to get back into it, honestly.
Yeah. You've already had one fight, correct?
Yes, that one. Did not walk away with the win on that one. So, hungry to get it done this time. Training all I can to make sure that happens. But lost the first one. It happens. Spirits are up. I don't care, just getting right back in.
Good. Yeah, a lot of times, people get discouraged with that first loss, but did you have that conversation with yourself? Hey, do I really want to do this again? Or was that immediately a motivator for you? What was your mindset after that fight?
Right after the first one, and I talked to my coach about it, talked to my family about it, because it's you're losing in front of people. It's never feels great
sucks.
right after. But I went back, watched the clips from the recording during the fight, was hearing what the commentators were saying about me during the fight, encouraging stuff, made me feel better about my own performance, and just talking with my coach too. I'm like, I wasn't doing anything crazy wrong. It's just I wasn't the better fighter that night. And it happens. I told myself, shake it off, go back to training, get better, do better. And then here I am, ready to do better.
Yeah. No, I guess that's almost a perfect answer to that question. So very good, very good. So what have you been doing differently? How has your training changed? What are you doing to be the better man coming up on March 22nd?
Biggest thing is maybe a cop-out answer, but listening to my coach.
That's a great answer.
A lot of the times, yeah, and he'll be glad to hear it too. A lot of times, if there's recorded footage of my sparring or drilling, or things my coach picks up on watching, he'll scream at me. He'll yell at me for it. He'll say, do this. Make sure you're doing this, and then I'll just do my best to actually do it. He says, you're dropping your hand or something. I'll make sure, anytime I notice it, I'm like smacking my own head, make sure that's up. And, as the weeks of this camp especially went by, I noticed he's calling things out less, making me think, I'm covering these things less, feeling better about the things I was lacking on before.
Oh, excellent. What does a typical training week look like for you guys at Beltrante? Well, specifically for you guys getting ready for the fights.
Let's see. In camp, Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings, got 2 hours, an hour of one-on-one with the coach, and then an hour of, just general training time. Monday, Wednesday nights, there's 2 more hours. In between there, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, hitting the gym for just strength work. Every day is conditioning work, pretty much. I'd say on average, there's maybe 4 or 5 hours of training a day, spreading it among like the high impact and low impact stuff, making sure I have time to, rest and recover. No point in fighting on a weathered and worn body, but it's a lot. I've had to cut back a lot of time in other things, but I'm happy to do it because it's just, nose to the grindstone pretty much 100% of the time.
It is 10 a.m. on Monday morning as we're doing this. Have you already had your Monday morning session?
Today I have not. Today, got a little bit janked up in a sparring session. Nothing to be worried about. Just one day of rest instead of the training session. No, I was at home and I was at the gym, picking up the time, doing what I can there to make up for what I can't do in the training gym. So wasn't the one-on-one session today, but have no doubt, the training's still happening. The work is still getting put in where it can be.
Very good, very good. And how about, we're, I guess, 12 days out. How are you on weight? Do you have a big weight cut? Are you close to weight? How's that all looking? And how's your diet plan for the next week?
Diet, last 2 weeks, of the fight. So last week and this week, I made the switch over to keto. Never liked doing that. I miss sugar. But no, weight's coming down steady. I've got the rest of this week projected and the rest of next week projected, the last week before the fight. And no concern at all. Last fight, the weight cut was no concern at all. Felt good, felt refreshed afterwards. I'm completely chilling on weight. No concern at all.
Very good. And what are your long-term plans with this? Did you originally get into the kickboxing Muay Thai world to fight, or was it for exercise? And what are your plans now that you've had a fight and you'll have another fight under your belt here soon?
It was a pretty linear journey for me in terms of like, athleticism in general. I started out back in like 8th, 9th, 10th grade. I was, 2 inches shorter and about 65 pounds heavier. I was like 5'6", 205 pounds, never touched a weight in my life. And I was like, that's enough of that. Got into shape myself, started watching UFC on a whim, and I'm like, holy crap, this stuff's pretty cool. Got into Muay Thai just for the hell of it, because I'm like, they can do it. Why can't I do it? And then I started realizing I'm pretty good at this. And my coach started realizing I was pretty good at this too. So I come into it, I'm like, I can fight. I can give it a try. Why not? I'm going to put everything I can into this. Started to realize that like the dream is, professional level. That's the absolute dream at this point. So I'm telling myself I'm going to do everything I can, put in all the work. If I get there, I get there, And if not, I can lay there on my deathbed and say, hey, man, I tried. I did everything I could. So that's the end goal there. If I can get there, I'll get there, and I'll do everything I can to get there.
So, well, just to recap, you're 21 years old now, and what is this fight?
Sir?
What is the fight weight for this fight?
It's 145.
145. And at one point, 5-6 years ago, you were at 205-ish?
Yes, sir.
Wow. And when did the Muay Thai come into that equation? What age were you then?
I was 20 years old. Yeah. I'm 22 in about a month and a half here. So it was like October of 2023, I believe, is when I started. So again, I've only been at this, maybe a year and a half, year and 3/4.
Right. And how did you get from 205 to 145, other than the Muay Thai training over the last 2 years? I guess the next question is, what did you weigh when you started the Muay Thai training?
When I started there, my normal comfortable walk around weight, and I say comfortable because, my one crime against myself is I'm a glutton. I love food. I love to eat. So my comfortable walk around weight is like 170, 175. If I lock in on the diet just for athleticism's sake, I walk around probably 160. So I was probably between 160 and 170 when I started. But coming down from 205 was like the very first thing I did in my athletic career. This was even before Muay Thai came into the picture. And that was just fix the diet, fix the timing of when I eat, fix the portion sizes, and just some form of cardio every single day. Giving myself like 1 day a week, 2 days a week, just for rest and recovery. But a lot of times that was, between school and between work, that was like the 5 a.m. treadmill sessions or the 9 p.m. treadmill sessions, and getting yelled at because the treadmill is in the basement under my mom's room. So I'm making noise and getting yelled at.
Making noise, yeah.
Yeah, but I would fit it in where I could, and I mean it's paid off. I don't see myself ever getting above like 170 again, and that's really pushing it because I want to be an active fighter, so I don't really want to push above 160. I want to be able to make the weight easily.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. At one time, I was well over 300, like 380. So I'm always interested in that side of the story. But hey, the fight's March 22nd. It's going to be your second time in there. It's at a casino. How do you feel about it at the casino in Philadelphia? I'm assuming that's not too far from you. Harrah's there?
No, it's 45 minutes, 60 minutes away, no problem. I mean, I wouldn't care. The last one was in Newark, Delaware. That was a little further. I'll go to. I don't care. You know, if find me a fight, I'll go to it. You know, a lot of the times I feel like my coach is going to be driving me anyway. My coach drove me to the last weigh-in, drove me to the last fight, driving me to this weigh-in, driving me to this fight. So it's like I'll sit in the passenger seat, take me wherever. I'll punch the guy you put in front of me, right?
That's a great attitude. All right, that's Will Cavallo, and the fight is March 22nd at Harrah's Casino. Will, I look forward to seeing you and watching your fight.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Take care, Will.
You too.